is my name, and I'm still here in this mortal world, wandering and wandering because of my curse. It all started when I was 14. I lived with my mother Angeline and my father Simon in my grandmother's house. We were happy. My grandmother loved me a lot, and one day she gave me a teddy bear. Then we moved and went to live in another house, leaving my grandmother alone. But one night when I was 14, the curse occurred because I was damned. In fact, my parents had not told me that my mother, before she gave birth to me, had been bitten by a cursed dog with red eyes. I discovered it when I was just a ghost, so the curse was just in me. So that night, when I was 14, I was playing with my dad in the woods. Suddenly, I saw a flash in the sky, a shadow figure that looked like my mom, like a silhouette. I felt very weird about that. Anyway, at that point, I ran in my house, and with my mom, I decided to play a joke to my dad. We pretended to be dead on the bed with fake blood. Then Simon entered our room, and he suddenly became mad. He ran into the kitchen with a knife, and he killed himself before we could even tell him it was a stupid joke. Then me and my mom went in the woods to look for help, but we couldn't find anyone. We returned home crying. We went to the kitchen, but the body of my dad wasn't there. He moved. We went into the bedroom and we found my dad lying on the bed. Then he slowly rose up, and then the moment. I actually don't remember what happened, but there was a big flash and a very strong rumble. He had killed both of us. We were very different now. My father had no face, and he was very tall and tiny. He ran into the woods, and he became what you call Slender Man. I ran away and went in a cellar of an abandoned house, but I had brought 8 books with me. Why? In those books, there were memories. My memories. There were a lot of photos from my childhood, and there was my story, and even the moment of the curse. I placed them in different parts of the cellar, and I decided I had to defend them. But I was different. My eyes were big and red, and my mouth long and wide. My view was red. Everything around me was red, but mostly, I was angry. I wanted to kill everyone. I had become evil. Sometimes some homeless or thieves entered the cellar. I was able to pass through the walls. It meant that man knew my secret. So it would have been difficult in the cellar. He found a picture of me with my parents that I had hidden. Then he turned around, and I summoned up my mother and my father, but we couldn't kill him. He escaped quickly. The man still had my books, and in one of them there were photos of my asylum, the asylum I attended when I was a child. Yes, I had some Liev, then my husband. Liev suddenly bit me because he felt the curse in my blood. My mother urged Liev to keep the family going, so Liev became my husband. Then we found a hidden newborn in the asylum. Liev bit the baby in the neck, and the baby was suddenly infected by my curse. Then the man arrived and he saw the baby. We tried to kill him, especially my mom, but he escaped. Liev wanted to abandon the baby, and some days later, in secret, he left him in a cellar. My mother got angry with Liev because of having abandoned the baby. So she hit him in the head and she locked him in a coffin, but I didn't know this. I had lost Liev and my mother, and I didn't know where they were. So I went in a cellar of a house near the asylum, and I found my baby, but it was strange. Because of Liev's bite, he had grown malformed. Therefore, there was even my father, Slender Man, in the house helping me. There, I wrote a diary about my past, and in the rucksack of the man, there were my books. Fantastic. I took them. With my father and my son, I tried in every way not to make him escape. but that man was too smart. He escaped with my diary. I got really angry. I changed the cellar. This time I placed my books, and with my son and with my mother, I protected them. But one day that man arrived in the cellar, and he managed to take all my books again, even if me and my family wounded him a lot. That man was following us and about to discover every secret about my family. Some months later, I decided to move and leave my child. I did it because I trusted Liev. That child didn't belong to us. I went in the school I attended when I was a child, but not for the man, for the one thing that belonged to me. When I was a child, before my grandmother with my teddy, she thought I could be at school. How could that man always follow me everywhere? I looked for my teddy bear. My grandmother had left it somewhere. I tried to kill the man, but he left the teddy bear on a desk. He had done it for me. What could I do? While he was escaping, I pushed him down the stairs. Even if that man knew several things about my secret, I decided to save him. Then, with my mom, I went in a dark forest. There was a coffin. It was closed with a code. There was even a picture of my baby. My mother told me she had organized this when I was in the cellar with my baby. A very difficult riddle for the man who would be there soon. Therefore, my mom explained that Liev, my husband, was a danger for me and my family. She told me that she had locked him in that coffin after having stunned him. I didn't know that, so I got angry with my mother, but in that moment, the man arrived. So, as my mother tried to kill the man in every way, I placed some keys around the woods. Why? Because I hoped he would open the coffin with my husband inside. Fortunately, the man managed to figure out the riddle and open the coffin. Liev woke up. He was the angriest man in the world. He wanted to take his revenge. He wounded my mother and stunned the man that was trying to escape. He brought it to the castle. He also for me, but I tried to kill the man, but he found the book. The book stopped me, and I wasn't able to attack the man. There was a strange force in me. My face and all the memories